The Hermit. The Hermit is the card that covers the astrological sign of Virgo. It is a supremely intellectual card. Now that would be odd because it is after all an earth energy. Take a look close at that. This is Mahavira. Mahavira is the hermit par excellence. There is nobody who has been a greater hermit than Mahavira or the Jain monks. The hermit is a person who is ultra introverted. Now what is ultra introversion? Introversion is fundamentally people who derive their energy from within themselves. And the world for them, how they react to the world, how they respond to the world, is a function of how the world approaches them. Now this is not well understood, especially by extroverts, because extroverts go out and engage with the world. The introvert or the hermit waits for the world to engage with him. Then he will analyze it, he will look at it, he will draw conclusions from that interaction pattern. Then he will bring forward a usually intellectual or what he thinks is intellectual, but actually is normally a very deeply emotional response to situations. But the hermit is fundamentally about finding answers from within oneself. That is the core. Again, the answers that you find from within yourself are not answers that will betray you, because they will be authentic to you. They will be integral to you. They will be true for you even if they do not apply so well to other people. Most of us forget this. We try to find something that will be socially pleasing, that will be socially rewarding, and we do not think of finding what is my real authenticity. Whereas for the hermit, that is the core question. What is my authenticity? What is my integrity? Now if you function from your authenticity and your integrity, then it is very likely that for some time you are not going to be very financially successful, but over time you will develop a reputation, you will develop influence, and in the end you will be financially successful also. Virgos, by the way, are not people who end up being not financially successful. It is very hardwired into them. So Virgos don't need to worry that this is. All gateways are karmic challenges. Gateways are not something to pat myself on the back. Oh, wonderful, I got a wonderful card, or I got a terrible card. Oh my God, it is destruction. Gateways are, here are the karmic challenges that you have to engage with, overcome, understand, assimilate, be done, move on to next life. Now the hermit is the overall gateway. 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles are the secondary, the 10-day periods. But the tendency for the hermit, since knowledge and learning and inquiry is so important, is that the hermit can tend to mistake these things for the truth. In many packs you see a hermit very closely examining the bark of a tree with a telescope, which is a sort of response, a sort of misuse of knowledge. Or very often this is another common factor that you find when the hermit card comes. If there is a problem, their answer is not to deal with the problem, their answer is to begin something else. So the problem is solved by ignoring it and having all the time consumed by some other very useful and valuable activity. But the initial trigger is still left untouched. Now these are things that people who are in the hermit energy, this is not just for Virgos, this is for those who are in the hermit energy, they have to learn. Another part is Virgos, you know, are very clean, very finicky, very well organized. These are all qualities that everybody could learn. There is nothing particular that only Virgos should have clean and neat homes. Every human being can have a clean and neat home. That is a hermit tendency. Yes, there is a shadow side. It is a major arcana card. Major arcana cards are powerful. They cover all aspects of life. There is a shadow side. Depression, loneliness, complete sense of being misunderstood by people. These things have to be worked at. Paradoxically, they are people who are very much liked. People value them, but they tend to get tired. But that is because most of them tend to be, people who are dominated by the hermit tend to be introverts. Introverts derive their energy from within, not by interaction. Not that they are bad at interacting, they are probably very supremely skilled at it. But they derive their energy from within. The hermit looks within. The first reaction is to freeze. Now this unfortunately becomes a social response also. When they are supposed to display some initiative, the tendency is to freeze. That might become a problem. So they need to learn these things. Again, every karmic gateway is something, a challenge to be overcome. It is not something to pat yourself on the back. So you need to learn these things. One of the other things that you hear about the hermit is when the card comes regularly in a reading, it means that the childhood has been little turbulent. Extremely turbulent. It could be that there have been bad episodes also. I don't wish to go into details, but almost always the childhood has had a period of some significant trauma. Now you would think that is worse. That is a very terrible thing. How does a person overcome it? You will find that they do overcome it. And people who have overcome troubles always tend to be more creative, more resilient, more capable than people who've had it easy. So one should not dismiss one's troubles that fast. The hermit is a person willing to suffer deprivation. A hermit is a person who knows the value of deferred gratification. The hermit can wait for the big reward, the main reward. Does not get sidetracked by the immediate shiny little pebbles that are surfacing. He knows, no, this is not the real deal. There is something bigger. I should go for that. So patience can be displayed. Deferred gratification can be displayed. And almost all truly successful people are people who are capable of showing deferred gratification. So in terms of both self-awareness and in terms of self-control, the hermit is a very extraordinary card indeed.